So there's this story. Hold up. It involves Millie Bobby Brown, the actress, and Henry Cavill. Millie Bobby Brown shares wild boundaries Henry Cavill set, and people don't know how to feel. Now, these two were part of a Netflix show, which I think revolved around Enola Holmes, too. After the controversy, rumors surrounding Millie Bobby Brown's relationship with some of her older fellow celebrities like David Harbour and Drake in older interviews with Deadline has resurfaced, okay? And while filming Enola Holmes, Millie Bobby Brown worked with veteran actor Henry Cavill, the guy from The Witcher, Superman. You've seen him in a lot of different movies. And soon, he's going to be a space marine, which is going to be, it sounds crazy, but if there's any man who's built to be a space marine, I guess it would be him. Talking about their working relationship, Millie Bobby Brown shared how different it was from working with Stranger Things cast. She says, and I quote, "It's different because I grew up with Noah and Charlie. I met them when I was 10, so for me, it does feel like your schoolmates." Talking about her cast from Stranger Things. And with Henry Cavill, it feels like a real adult relationship, like a really good friendship, a really healthy one. One where we have terms and conditions. I know Henry, he has terms and conditions with me. I'm not allowed to ask about his personal life. It's like, Millie, shut up, no, and I'm like, understood. These strict rules about personal relationships are very different from Millie's friendships with Stranger Things cast. Or Drake? All right.
Drake?
You did a lot better than me. I mean, yeah. You guys aren't aware, Drake and her had a, in my opinion, pretty weird relationship, whereas she was 14 and he was in his mid to late 30s. They would text about dating and boys, and he would ask her all kinds of like, so who you dating now? And I'm like, you know, I had people try to convince me Drake's not weird for that. Whatever. You know, if y'all be texting teenagers, asking about their dating life, giving advice. So someone tweeted, strange that keeping their relationship strictly professional with a child is so unusual in Hollywood that it's worthy of an interview anecdote. Some other people weren't too fond of it, saying it felt a bit odd that he would be so stringent and strict with her, like he can't control himself. People were saying it's a bit weird. Someone writes in regards to this article, if I say what this looks like to me, especially with the rumors about this man, essentially insinuating that he's some kind of creep for this standard that he has. And then someone wrote below, we all know, girl, I don't think Millie knew at the time, but I'm sure she does now. And like, this is a fairly popular tweet, 15K likes. There's another person who wrote, normal adults don't need to adopt terms and conditions to have a healthy boundaries with a child. Okay, first off, the terms and conditions is a line that Millie came up with. I don't think this man actually sat across from her and laid out a contract, okay? So to use that against him as if it's some kind of indictment is stupid as fuck. What are your thoughts?
It is, because he's a man.
Okay.
Everything you're going to do to protect yourself makes you, put you in a position, well, you can't control yourself? No. I think it's real. We're working, and you're a kid. I don't want motherfuckers, because people will talk. People will say a bunch of shit. But now people can't. Nope, he kept it really. They can be like, oh, you can't control yourself? Yes, I can. Nothing happened. You don't have any stories. You're a kid. I think that when she was working with Henry Cavill, she was 16. Mm-hmm. Was it pushing 40? We're professional. No, we're not going to go out after having a beer. No. I'm going home, you go home. Mm-hmm. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay. Make sure you learn your lines. 100%. Let's concentrate on our work.
Are you like that even with adults? Because you've done
actually,
quite a lot
yes.
I know you've done commercials. I know you've done a lot.
Acting as well. Yeah. Even with adults.
Yeah.
Like, I don't talk about my personal life necessarily. Like, if someone want to talk about their personal life on a downtime, that's fine. But I feel like even I'm like that with adults, but it's even with kids. It's even more. The kids are impressionable. When I was working in corporate, I felt some type of way about people asking me too much questions. I'm here to work. I'm not here to, oh my God, so how long you been with you? Shut up. Like, shut up, Francine. It's none of your business. The less you know, the better it is. That's whether I'm acting or even in normal work. I got my friends for that. Oh my God, I filmed with Henry Cavill. How he is. Very reserved. Good. Take that to your house and your friends. I ain't tell you shit.
Yes. And, you know, sure enough, this tweet was incredibly popular as well, as you guys can see here. He sounds like an insufferable person to be around. Why? Because he doesn't want to have a very personal relationship with 16-year-old. It is a funny thing where even when you're professional and you're just being like strictly business and you're like, don't ask me about my personal life on the job, somehow that makes you like either a creep or a horrible person. Some folks at work don't want to talk about their shit. They don't want you to know about their business. It is not, they don't want to have that relationship like you were saying earlier, Preach. It's okay. How does that make someone a bad person?
Because people like the stories that they tell themselves. Well, they like to feel like they know. That's the thing about people, about human beings. They want to feel like they know. So they're going to invent any kind of story and then they're going, oh, well, it's that's what's obviously that. I know. No. Oh, yeah, I know. I've seen, no, yeah, I've seen this. I know. No, you don't. No, you don't know the person. But people want to know how. That's what we have astrology. People want to be able to tell about a certain person in a second. Oh, you're this, that. Well, you're that. No. It's impossible, and it's charlatanism, right? There are way too many baby single. Anyways,
I'll be honest with you guys. I do a lot of dancing, so I'm physically close with people, and I'll see them on a regular basis. I've seen some of these people for 6-7 years. So we'll go dancing every week, once or twice, okay? A week. They know nothing about me. Some of them don't even know my first name. We're not friends. We don't hang out. I don't grab beers with these people. We go, we're there to do whatever artistic endeavor we're involved in. Even if I was working a gig with these people, they would get my name, obviously, at that point. But I'm not sharing deep personal life with most of these people. And doing so is not a creepy thing. This is not even an age-related thing now. But if it was a young person, I'd probably have that rule even more. That doesn't mean I'm not friendly. That does not mean I'm not courteous. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be protective of the person. But it also means it's okay to have that boundary. And it doesn't mean that there's some nefarious reason. Some folks are just private. Some people want to keep business. So, these people coming for him, I think they just have their idea about Henry. They want to have their narrative, and they will twist whatever information they learn to fit that narrative. It doesn't matter. Reality doesn't matter. But let's keep going with another one of these. It says, her not being able to spot when adult men have said something really weird to her is so peak for them because she just talks about it in interviews like it's fine and cute, and then everyone else who sees it is like, what the fuck? This and the Drake thing. So dudes are wrong if they're like Drake, right? And they like text a 16-year-old nonstop and talk to her. And dudes are also wrong if they're like, hey, my personal life's my personal life. Now we don't.
You can never win.
So it's
you
like,
can never win.
Having no boundaries is bad. Having boundaries is bad. It's like you're a fucking weirdo. And look, I could see a world where this criticism makes sense, where a man is like, I refuse to make eye contact with the 6-year. Like, all right, you're doing a bit much. Okay, I think you could look her in the eyes when you have a conversation with somebody, even if it's brief. You don't have to pretend like you have to avoid eye contact at all costs, like you're gonna get. Okay, this is not that. A boundary you set with coworkers does not become inappropriate because you set it with an underage person who's a coworker. I don't know. Like, what a weird thing to write. And like, this tweet was very popular. I don't know if you can see this on screen, but 34K likes. Okay, so I guess he was 19 and he dated a 30-year-old, or he was 30 and he dated a 19-year-old. See? So what I said happened. People have a narrative about him that he's into like underage people or whatever it is, because at one point he was 30 and he dated a 19-year-old. Even though now he's married with somebody, and I think she's not even close to that age, but it doesn't even matter.
But even that, like, even that, you were 30, you dated a 19-year-old, and you see the narrative that people got about you. Next movie, I'm dating that person. We're not talking. Of course, I'm going to protect that. People already have a narrative, so of course I'm going to be like, "Hey, yeah, no, you don't know shit about. We're not doing this, Molly. I know how much trouble this got me into. I'm not redoing that. I'm smarter than that. If I want to work in this industry, you know what I mean? I'm no Leonardo DiCaprio, so I'm not doing that again."
And it strikes me as funny because they're like, all right, yeah, you're weird for having dated a 19-year-old. It's like, okay, so what, do you want him to now start talking consistently with a 15-year-old? Is that the ideal spot for you? The reality is
you can never win.
Exactly. You've never been able to win. This is actually one of those scenarios where they were going to condemn him no matter what quote came out. They were going to finagle it somehow to make him out to be a weirdo. And it's so ridiculous. Age gap relationships, when you talk about a 19 and a 30-year-old or whatever, you have to understand something can appear like it might not be without it actually being bad. Not every age gap relationship is this horrible thing. Not every one of them is going to be some kind of exploitation or there's some kind of like no.
There's power dynamics, Abba. You're forgetting about power dynamics. There's always power dynamics.
You know what? You're right. And guess what? Not everyone who has an imbalance of power abuses that power. Not every manager who's slept with their employee has abused their position. Some of them have gone on to get married and have healthy relationships. We have to be careful. We can say a behavior isn't something we want to encourage without saying that every instance of it is some kind of form of extreme exploitation or whatever it is. It's
100%.
And who knows? You guys don't even know. Maybe he found that age gap relationship and after experience it decided it wasn't for him and he never did it again. That's also a possibility.
That's it.
So it's just seeing this whole thing. I just thought it was funny because I've seen Millie Bobby Brown, and you could tell this woman was trying to be an adult very young. And, you know, one thing I'll say is there's even more reason to kind of keep young people like this who are actors and actresses away from your personal life. And it's that they get turned into adults very fast by the internet, by adults sexualizing her, by directors sexualizing her. That it's like, it's okay for her to you just go be in your kid world and your teenage world with those people. It's fine. In my experience, a lot of these people, like, they're having these adult conversations with adults and they shouldn't. They're being matured much faster than what I think is healthy for them. And I feel like this is exponentially more true for actors and child actors.
And it's even worse when there's an age gap. It's really worse. Yeah, I think it is. As a matter of fact, I was not guilty of this, but I found myself in a situation where my vision of someone changed. Right, I was filming this thing where I was filming with a young lady and a 14-year-old, right? And then she says, "Oh yeah, by the way, my boyfriend watches you a lot," and I'm like, first and foremost, how old is your boyfriend? Because our material is not really for 13 and 12 years old, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, my boyfriend's an actor too. He's in university. And I went, whoa. And she goes, yeah, I'm 24. And I went like, oh, shit, okay. Oh, the way I was seeing her at 14 and at 24, even though it was the same person, it was not the same.
Yeah.
24, I'm like, okay, you've seen life. Not that I wanted to protect her about certain, and I didn't want like the staff to think certain things, or so I was like distant. Now, when I knew how old she was, I was distant for different reasons. I can understand how Henry Cavill felt.